This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this StockBox interview.
Joining us today is Aidan Bishop, the interim CEO at Bluebird Mining Ventures. Good to be talking to you again. Aidan, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good to speak to you again.
Thank you for your time. I mean, let's just first of all talk about, there's a few things we want to catch up on across the company, but just the stepping down of course, Colin as the sort of head or, the leader of the company there. Can you tell us a little bit about sort of how that came about and perhaps why?
I mean, yes, look, it's a family reason, quite a serious illness within Colin's family. And, he felt it was not, he wasn't able to continue, but remains obviously entirely supportive of the company. And so we wish him well. We thank Colin for all his contributions over the years, and he's been, a big investor in the company. There's no conspiracy theory behind him, the timing of his leaving or anything like that. It's just a genuine family issue.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Good. But it's good to hear he's still sort of involved, perhaps in the background, giving us probably sound advice over many years of course being at the helm there. Let's catch up if we can. Let's start with Batangas first of all. So I noticed in the recent RNS you sort of talked about, you referenced that the price of gold, of course, that's hot topic at the minute. We're not quite at 3,000, but it's getting very close every day. So you said you were actively exploring ways to realise value from Batangas, talking about a big disconnect between the market cap and that project value. So how are you going to realise value with gold, of course, nearing that 3,000?
Yeah, so we've made some good progress at Batangas. It's interesting that we started this when the company started and listed in 2016. It was on the back of the Batangas Project, and we seem to have come sort of full circle, where Batangas is right in the forefront of what we're doing. So, of course, with gold being so high, extremely low production costs off the initial 100,000 or so ounces at Batangas, really going to be very low. It's going to be an extremely profitable mine. So we're looking at opportunities how to realise that. We have a local partner that is spending there, that is taking the project forward. They have expressed sort of an interest of would they are a natural acquirer of the project at some point in time. Given the proximity of where Batangas is to Manila, it's really very close. Great infrastructure. There are other companies that are interested in this project, mining companies, and so forth. So I don't think it's going to be too challenging to realize value on the Batangas project. It's also an opportunity. We could even spin the project out into its own listing, potentially locally in the Philippines. That's a potential opportunity. I've had some, just exploratory discussions around all of that. So look, there's a number of ways to monetize this project early for Bluebird. And I think that over the coming months or so, we'll see how that comes into view.
Okay, and this is all being left with the partner, is it, on the ground? Is it the declaration of mining feasibility study?
That's right. So we're just going through a renewal of the permit. Those fees have been paid by the local partner, and the goal is to achieve two studies. One's an environmental study that gets approved, and one's sort of a mining technical study. Once those two are approved, you've basically got the green light to go into the construction phase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And are you seeing any updates on there in terms of perhaps when that will be, or any risks of it being delayed?
So no, I mean it's a bureaucratic process to go through a renewal. It's encouraging that the government have asked for the fees to be paid for the 2020-25, which has been done. That's great news. And so it's just a case of we go through that process, and once we've got that, we've got to plow on with the two studies. And once those are completed, it's good. So, I mean, look, when you get the renewal, you have 2 years. So we have 2 years. Not that we don't think it's going to take that long, but we have 2 years to get those studies approved. Those aren't just desktop studies. There's environmental work that takes place. There's metallurgical work that takes place. There's some drilling that's takes place. There's a whole bunch of technical work. It's effectively like a feasibility study. There was one done previously based upon an open pit type of mine. But we're looking at an underground, which is more less of a surface impact. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, good. So that work can sort of get going really, and okay, good. And then Kochang, then the mountain temporary use permit. So that decision's been delayed. You're saying until sort of Q2 this year, really due to the bureaucratic sort of the process, really. So is sort of everything on hold until that can be approved?
Yes, I mean you just got to wait. You just got to wait for the outcome
Right.
of that process. Obviously, it's really frustrating because we were told by our legal counsel, was told by the Board of Audit and Inspection that a decision will be forthcoming by the end of January. And then, of course, when we followed it up, they said, actually, sorry, 3 other cases have jumped in front of you, which doesn't mean mining cases, just 3 other cases because they have quite a wide remit. And it's again, I don't. People ask me, what does that mean? I don't think it means anything. I think it's just typical government, very bureaucratic, very slow, and we just have to go through that process, as frustrating as it might be. Some people say, well, why did you announce that? Maybe you shouldn't have announced anything. I said, well, look, I get asked every week about this, so obviously we can't tell people what's not in the public domain. So I figure, I'll tell you what, we'll just put it in the public domain. There it is. It's out there. So the market has the information that we have. so that's that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So there's nothing you can do
Look,
about that.
I remain optimistic. We just go through the process. Look, there's our lawyers keep reassuring us. By the letter of the law, there's no reason why this won't be.
Okay.
We won't be approved. We've complied with the law, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So let's hope it eventuates with the decision in the right way in Q2.
Okay, and once that's granted, that allows you to get on the site and effectively start works on there. What would those works look like?
Yeah, look. So once that gets granted, then you've pretty much got the green light to progress into production. Then, so
right. Okay, so it's straight into production, pretty much.
Yeah, so once we've got that, we can actually go in. We can complete certain refurbishment type work. We can start bringing ore out of the mine. So yeah, that's it. We've got the green light, and I think that'll have a knock-on effect as well to the Gubong project, the larger Gubong project as well. So I think it's look, it's all these. One thing I've learned in the mining industry, it requires great patience. It requires great patience. But again, everything is about timing. And if these things come together at the right time for us in terms of the permit approvals in Korea, in the Philippines, like you say, with the gold price where it's at, it becomes a really interesting opportunity, particularly when we took Korea on. It was only $1,000 an ounce was gold, so nobody was really cared about gold. So I think there's something to be said that you just stick with your projects, keep with them, and you just got to wait for the, you need a lot of patience, and when things, everything aligns, and hopefully it will for us in Q2.
Well, this would be the perfect time, as you say, to get things going there. And you purchased shares recently, I believe, as well. So, what's the rationale behind that, apart from, let's say, a token to show that you're supporting the company? Do you see, this as the real opportunity here that you could actually yourself realize value as well as, of course, shareholders?
Well, yeah, look, I was in for a penny, in for a pound, right? So, I mean, people said, I didn't have any information. I just traded. I think I bought 2.4 million shares, I think it was, in total. So, look, I was just happy to support the price. And I think it was always good, so especially that we've now subsequently announced a couple of delays. Then it would be, I'm just there. I think I remained optimistic. I think we just got to keep ploughing on. So I was happy to buy at that level. I think I bought at 0.8. I think it was. So something like that. So I think that's fine. So I've got obviously a lot more shares than that at higher prices. So I have a vested interest in seeing the share price perform well.
Okay, good. And in terms of getting to monetization then, in realizing some value from these assets, is it fair to say that Kochang would be perhaps the nearer term one, depending on the bureaucratic process?
I mean, look, we always said that, right? So in Korea, our plan was to get Kochang up and running and then move on to the Gubong project, much larger, more technically challenging. But again, since we've pursued that and gone down that path, Batangas has come right back into the frame. So look, it could well be, the Batangas renewal comes through very shortly. There is definitely a lot of interest in Batangas. There is a lot of interest, possibly because there's a dual resource there. There's a dual reserve there. 20 million has been spent on an exploration process over the years. So, there are quite a lot of mining companies in the Philippines already that are looking for new opportunities. So I think we might be surprised that maybe this one becomes first off the rank. We'll see.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for that update. Aidan Bishop, the interim CEO at Bluebird Mining Ventures. So looking forward to seeing, hopefully a few catalyst events in not too much time.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.